it's been a little over a month since my last video. So much has happened. Oh my gosh. Every single day. I can't even catch my breath. But I said that I had discovered something. And I had actually did some writing and was talking about slavery. And the very same day, I hop in a car. Yay! And I get a message from my spirit guides. It was so odd. On the kiosk on the freeway, every day, I drive every day, so on the kiosk on the freeway it said, don't push your luck, buckle up and drive sober. Now, every day prior to this, the only thing it said is mask up. So I knew it was a message. And I look over and there is a 111. There was a license plate for New York with a synchronicity on it. And in that moment, with nothing in my vehicle, I drive to New York. I visit a friend. And on my way back, I get pulled over in front of the cemetery. And they take my car. I'm like, the fuck is going on? What? I stopped for a second. I paused because, again, I was reading about slavery. I was writing about slavery. There was something that I discovered when I was in Brandywine, Maryland. So I knew whatever was happening to me at that moment had to do with slavery. Come to find out, I was driving on the Underground Railroad. And I found a woman that died and was placed in that cemetery by the name of Mary Sadie. She had ran away from Brandywine, Maryland. So I then make my move back to Columbus, and all my finances are fucked up. Everything fell apart. The apartment, everything. I'm in a homeless shelter, right? And again, I'm like, it's just something, I gotta find out why I'm here. Why am I here? Well, I find out that the shelter that I'm in, that I've actually been in 3 times over the course of 13 years, is sitting on land that is called St. Mary's. And the last place I visited before I left Maryland was St. Mary's City, Maryland, where this Mary Sadie came from. I spend every single day meeting new people. Obviously, I'm in a shelter. You're going to meet a lot of people. And I kind of just do what I feel like doing. Yesterday, I was supposed to go somewhere, and I ended up just not going, and I run into somebody from the shelter. Mommy, yeah. None of these. Nope. I run into this person from the shelter, and we decide we're gonna go walking on the trail. You know what she tells me? This trail is the Underground Railroad. What I have to say in regards to slavery, I will be posting my video eventually. There's just too much going on. And not even bad stuff, really. I mean, it sounds bad to you, probably. Oh, her finances, she lost her car, all this stuff. It was all for my highest good. It was all for this. Yet I still can't put it into words. I could tell you what I just experienced, but I can't put into words everything and all the information that I have been given in regards to it just yet. But just know, I have discovered something. And I'm very excited for the moment in which I'm supposed to share it. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Let's get started, part 2. Oh, gotta log in. Fuck. I got a headache, bruh. Oh, fuck. Okay. I have a headache, but I've been trying to wear, there we go, crystal quartz right there, or clear quartz rather, in my hair for my crown. But anyways, all right. So I stopped in Maryland before I went to South Carolina, tried to get a hold of me in the hour. Didn't link up, but on my way to South Carolina, I had women approach me at the gas station. They asked for help. She didn't have any money, so can I use my card? Like, she had cash, but the gas station was closed, so can she use my card and she give me the cash? So I did that. And they explained that they too were from Maryland, and that her passenger's husband was from Sierra Leone. Yeah, gave me the creeps a little bit, okay? So after encountering them, I had a weird account attempt from my bank. Like, somebody trying to access my account, right? So within a day at Myrtle Beach, I had a man approach me. It was obvious that he was canvassing the area and that he was looking for me. But I talked to him anyway. What I find out about this guy is he had shared a birthday with Hitler. His birth date was the same. And he and I spent the exact amount of time engaging as Hitler and Eva Braun were married. He was a Taurus. And this is also the individual that I said had gang affiliation. Both men that approached me in South Carolina had gang affiliation. Okay, so I had a night where I was trying to get somewhere and my GPS said, let me try that again. And it took me on a course, and I was driving for almost an hour when I realized that I actually had no internet connectivity. It continued to reroute me. And it wasn't until Aaron protested about this. What? So it wasn't until Aaron protested about his internet that I realized we were in trouble. I had like 12% left on my phone. My car, like the car port to charge your phone, stopped working. And I only had about a quarter tank of gas. So I turned around and I just went straight until I got back into internet. Okay. But when I got back into internet, I saw a route that said Little Ashley Pond, and that's the route that I chose to get back. But beforehand, it was telling me to turn on Route 66. Anybody know, like, out on the West Coast, Route 66 is a dangerous route, right? And I did not go on that route. I could see that a car was parked on that street that it was telling me to turn on. And when I didn't turn on it, it turned around and it followed me for about 20 minutes before I stopped at a well-lit station to get those directions. I made it back. So the next day I get in contact with the guy that approached me, and I fed him, and he helped me find a room because this particular weekend there was some kind of festival and the rooms were marked extremely high. And I mentioned this man in Love in Action video. Okay. So I left him in my room alone, and came back to one of my room keys missing. I didn't say anything, but I did tell him that I am extremely high ranking, and if he does anything to me, he will be regretful. I then offered him a shower, and he freaks out. How did you know I was going to ask for a shower? Who the fuck are you? You know, and I'm really high ranking, and I am a high priestess. That's who I am, right? So while he's in the shower, I go and I change my room key out, and I only asked for one, so he didn't take any money or anything. He just took my room key. So we ride around for a little bit, and I hear him on the phone saying, "This isn't Ashley. This isn't her, bro. I don't know who this is." Whatever he was planning, like he was trying to reverse it. All right. So as the night ends, he tells me he knows people that would harm me, but he can't in good conscience harm someone who fed him, and he could harm a woman who put drugs over her child or didn't provide for their child. But you look like you got a lot going for you. Your son is so sweet. You are not that kind of person, is what he says to me. Okay, so shit. I can't ever get the same setup twice in a row. For some reason I feel like it's not. Okay, so I leave that hotel the next morning, and I actually am planning to go back home, but my car stops, and this can be seen in the clarifying video. I call my mother and I ask for help after having not spoken to her in a year. I tell her that I cannot tell her where I am, but I tell her the gas station that I'm at. And there's only like 8 of them in the country. So, and almost all of them are where I am in Myrtle Beach. So about an hour later, a man pulls up and asks if I need help. My car port has died and I couldn't charge my phone. So he says he'd be willing to allow me to charge my phone in his car. Against my better judgment, Aaron and I get in the car, and he takes off. He picks up a man at a club, and there's a woman talking to the driver and says, "Is that the girl that doesn't have anything going for her?" We leave, and he is driving crazy on the back roads of South Carolina. He informs me that it's his birthday, and he's going to a club, parks outside of this hole in the wall, and goes with his friend and leaves me in the car to charge. Okay? When he comes back, he begins to Snapchat myself and son. And he makes comments about a man who put $500K on my head. $500K? What? He drops his friend off and promises to deliver me safe to my car. And I begin to share with him the issues of society, show him my channel, specifically the worst thing I have ever done video. And he kept making sexual advances, had admitted to being married, and denied my claim that I had an STD. So I showed him this video for proof. I also kept telling him I had a boyfriend, and he was being aggressive, trying to touch me, when he paused as he heard me say, "Well, that's one thing I did wrong." What? He said, "A black woman admitting she's wrong? Y'all don't do that." And then he's like, "What's your boyfriend's name?" And I told him. I gave him the man of the hour's name, okay? And he goes, "A 5%er, huh? Yeah, you go ahead and you take care." I can't tell what changed his mind about letting me go, because it was very clear I was about to be harmed. He suggested the place to take my car for repair, and it took about a week. In that time, I was like begging my mom to try to help me get back to Columbus, maybe give me the money for a rental car. She's like, "You're not going to put a rental in my name. Nobody's putting a rental in your name. I'm 33. I just need the money." Then she was like trying to force me to get on the bus. "You have to tell me where you are, and you have to show me proof of this, that, and the other," like I'm a fucking child. Again, I cussed that bitch out. Excuse my language. I cussed her out. And I just said, I'm going to figure it out on my own. And sure enough, I had actually not been claiming unemployment when I got the taxes. So I actually had like $2,500 to claim, and I got all of it. It all got approved. And so I was able to stay an extra week and pay the car repair. but it took every dime that I had. So on the last day, when I'm ready to go pick up my car, this man had told me to call him if I ever need anything. So I called him to ask for a ride to get my car, and he said that he wouldn't do it unless I'd give him head, right? So I kind of bent my will and agreed, but he never showed up because he remembered that I had an STD. So, I didn't even know how I was about to make it home. Like, I ended up getting an Uber. The Uber cost me so much money, right? And then I get on the freeway from getting my car, and I run out of gas. And I call and I'm like, yo, I ran out of gas. Like, my car stopped. He's like, oh, yeah, you were out of gas. So if I was just out of gas, then why would you charge me $700 for a gas tank? Are you sure that I needed a fuel pump? I think that they just charged me for the work but didn't actually do it. So the crazy thing is, I ran out of gas. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I even called the man of the hour, and I look in my rearview mirror not even 2 minutes after I ran out of gas, and there is a like the transportation, their ODT, not their ODT, that's Ohio Department of Transportation, whatever theirs is, he's pulling up behind me and gives me gas, right? So I'm able to get to a gas station, and I fucking leave South Carolina because fuck this shit. So on my way home, I called the man of the hour, and we spoke for about 30 minutes before the call was interrupted by someone I had met in Baltimore. Also linked to the man of the hour, by the way. He was 16 minutes away from my location and offered me help. He got me a room, he gave me some money and weed, and he insisted that he stay with me in the room. There were 2 beds, and I obviously laid with Aaron, but around 4 a.m., this man asked if I wanted to fuck. I was infuriated. I didn't display it, but I also didn't sleep. I stayed awake the whole night trying to figure out where I went wrong, because I definitely remember crying, thanking him for his help for nothing in return. I'm one of those people that can't get help unless I'm putting out. And I so much appreciated him. So how did this turn into that? Meaning, I definitely turned it down, but I just didn't understand, like, where did you get the idea that I was going to fuck you when I just sat here and cried about how grateful I am that you didn't ask for anything, So as soon as daylight hit, I was getting us ready to get out of there. I only had $40, so I didn't have any plan but to drive until I was out of money, but I had an account that I could overdraw. If it wasn't for that, I would have been stranded somewhere. I arrive in Ohio, end up sleeping at a rest stop not far from where I am now. I go to Columbus, but as I approach, I'm led to turn around. I go back to the rest stop and turn around again to go back towards Columbus, but right when I'm on the border of the counties, there's Franklin County and there's Licking County. There's a stop there, right in between. I am unable to steer my car on the freeway. I'm just barely able to get off the freeway and get to a gas station where I wait hours to hear from my cousin, and he never showed up. So I had no choice but to call the police, and I am certain they're about to take my child. But instead, they pay for my tow, hand me money, and place me in a domestic violence shelter. And this is outside of Franklin County. So I'm in a different county now. Within a week, my car is broken into and they steal my Mojo bag and perfume. About a day later, I realize it's a resident. Her husband broke into my car and she's walking around wearing my perfume. Okay, so I didn't turn her in. I just started watching her child for her, and I gave her the Emotional Incest Syndrome book and just urged her to read the book. But she would never read it. You know what I'm saying? We even got in a disagreement about it. But one day she overhears me speaking on why I didn't turn her and her husband in. Like, I was talking to the worker in the building and just telling her, like, sometimes you just gotta offer grace to people. She really truly needs help and stuff. So when I walk into the next room, I see her sitting there, and then the next time I walk up on her, she's reading the book. I get my car fixed, and this incident is described in a video called 444. Within a week or so, unemployment is ended. So again, I have no idea how I'm about to financially make it. But I go outside and I'm listening to Snoop Dogg, Bible of Love, dancing, not worrying about nothing when I get a $1,600 deposit. I don't watch the news, so I didn't know that stimulus for children was about to be a thing. But I get into transitional housing. It was free because I didn't have income. Okay, so that's when you guys see the ultimate spell. I'm in the shelter, and then the very next day is when I post the video showing me in a home. Okay, so I met this woman in the shelter, and I started watching her children. I cannot explain her or her purpose in my life, but for many years she lived across the street from my eldest niece, about 5 blocks away from my home in Whitehall. So we lived in the same city for some years. And she also lived across the street from my niece, but I never met her, right? She had attempted to go to Myrtle Beach when I was in Myrtle Beach, but turned around due to weather. And then shows up at the shelter about a week after I get in there. So whatever our meeting was for was aligned. There are no such things as coincidences. By November, all of my Chase accounts had closed. In December, my final account has been negative $200, and stimulus payments stopped. Starting in January, I was paid $200 for watching her children a couple days a week. But ultimately, and this was per month, $200 per month. But ultimately, I have lived off of $800 this entire year. In April, I had been served a notice from Transitional that I would have to move out by April 29th. And I was irritated as fuck, honey. I was irritated because everything I had tried to get on my feet failed. Tried to get a job, tried to reinstate my Social Security. Social Security needed some pay stubs that to this day I have not been able to obtain, right? So I had a lot of issues with getting back on Social Security, even though I technically still fit the description. So I was like really irritated, and then I had my car break down. So my car was broke down for like all winter. All of fucking winter, like right at the break of the beginning of spring is when it got fixed. And there's out here, it's not like Metro. You can't just like hop on a bus or anything. Like you have to schedule like if you want to ride, you have to schedule it 2 weeks in advance. Like if there was the regular type of busing system, it wouldn't have been an issue. But like if you need to go to the store today, you wouldn't be able to go, type shit. So that's why I never used like a busing system or anything out here. And I very much felt trapped most of the winter. It was really rough. It was a really rough ass fucking winter. Memories made in the coldest winter. Yeah, so the very next day after I got this notice, I was contacted about the apartment I'm in now, and my rent is only $2. And I moved in on my birthday, April 22nd. That was my birthday present from the universe. And because I stayed in the domestic violence shelter, there is a special PRC for domestic violence victims to rebuild their life. So that's how I got all my furniture. Like I said, I lived off of $800 for the last 4 months, 5 months. I don't have a fucking single dime. In my pocket right now, I have $2.10. And they also paid my rent for four months. So they paid $8 for my rent. So I don't have to pay rent until until September. My electric is $10, you know, and I get food stamps, obviously. So that is how I've been surviving all this time. Now, my time in the transitional was interesting because I had police following me around for a while. Try to catch me at the park doing something wrong. I wouldn't. I'd just be smoking cigarettes and letting Aaron ride on a scooter, you know. I had someone call the fire department on me because I was doing sage. And it was the first time I ever did loose sage. And this shit really, it did smoke up the building, okay? But all y'all motherfuckers, all y'all's energy needs to be cleansed. Okay? And they moved out like 2 days after that. I don't know why. There was another woman when I first got there. She was leaving the door open and she left. The police came to her home and then she left. Then there was an incident where the canines came in, and there was a woman that would talk to me all the time. She left within 24 hours. So I know that she had something on her, because that was the policy. If you got caught with something, you had to leave within 24 hours, right? And then I had the incident with the BAU. And then I had the incident with the woman that assisted me with BAU. In the situation, I said that she was like a pathological liar. Well, what set me off with that woman is that she started gaslighting me. She had said, I had mentioned to her, I didn't even know about how their transit system worked, right? But when I first started giving her rides and stuff, she told me that she couldn't use it because they only take you to doctor's appointments and to work. But something told me to look into it, and I look into it and find out that she could have had a ride, and she had me giving her rides and stuff and like spending my entire day with her when I didn't have to. So when I mentioned this to her, she told me, "Oh yeah, you're really helping me when I have to give you gas." So she expected me to do that. The only reason that she considered that I was not helping her because she had to give me gas. But she had to give me gas because I didn't have any income. And ultimately her gas didn't help me at all because all of the gas would be expended on her errands. I was with her every single day for like 3 weeks, right? From early in the morning to late evening. Not late evening, till I had to pick up her son. And I watched her son for her a couple times too. So like she completely negated everything that I did when I caught her in her lies. Because that wasn't even the only lie that she told me. She told me several lies. And I'm just like, okay, I can't take any more of the insult to my intelligence. But it seemed like every single person that I came into contact with in that building had issues and was lying and was doing crazy shit. It was all necessary though. You know what I'm saying? Like it was necessary. I don't really mind it. But the point of this video is just to tell you and show you everything that I went through over the course of the last year. I went through a lot. And even now, I still am like fighting through life because I don't know exactly how I'm about to make it. As I stated, like there's a place right here I could get a job and I haven't been able to get in. And my car is still like really acting up. Like I have a gas leak. See, because the intention of them fucking with my car, I didn't ever notice the gas leak because I always was able to fill up my tank. So like when I would get to like the halfway mark, I would just fill up. But the thing is, I actually was empty and did not know it. So when my car gets fixed and I start running around, I've ran out of gas a lot of times where I thought I had like half a tank of gas. But the only reason that I figured this out now is because I don't have the money to keep filling up, right? So I was always real big on getting gas at the halfway point. So now that I can't get gas at the halfway point, I realized that I was running out of gas. That the reason that I was filling up my tank so much in the first place was because, and when I fill up my gas, it's another thing. So when I fill up my gas, you can smell it. Before I took my car to South Carolina and got it fixed in South Carolina, that I did not have that issue. So you can smell the gas. See, because what was supposed to happen is when my belt broke, my tie rod was supposed to go out as well. And when your tie rod goes out, it will shoot you across traffic. I was supposed to have a collision, and whatever I hit, when I hit it, I was supposed to explode. That's what was supposed to happen to me, but it did not. But with having these issues with car, upon other things, the car overheats now. Never used to do that. Just all kinds of problems with my car that are causing me not to be able to do what I need to do. Yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure everything will be all right. Everything has been all right thus far, huh? Have a good day.